All right. Yeah. What up, though? Good morning. How you guys doing today? You're back in the lab with your favorite neighbor, your man, Mark Nash. He is I am he. Another great episode of Breaking Beats. How y'all feel? What's the deal? Make some noise for yourself. Yes. We are back. I told you we're coming back. You already know what it is. We're going to break down the business, entertainment, art, technology, sports, and anything else you and I feel like squeezing into those letters. It's a hip-hop, political sports show with a comedy twist. We like to let the jokes fly. You know why? Because life is serious enough. My next guest needs little to no introduction. She's a legend, a Hall of Famer, a survivor. And she's here today to tell her story. She goes by the name of Christy Martin. Let's run this intro, man. Let's get this beautiful woman up here to tell her amazing story and her journey. Hopefully you guys can learn something, but also be inspired by her story. Let's get it.
This that squad sound.
And we are here with boxing royalty. How you doing today, man?
It's a great day. Every day you wake up, you're blessed, and I'm, just excited that I can continue to do stuff that I love, boxing, and then talk about domestic violence. That's why God left me here, and so I think it's very important that I keep sharing my story, keep talking about domestic violence, making people more aware that it is everywhere.
Yes, yeah, and your journey, you've been around boxing for well over 2 decades. How many? Where you at now? Well, almost 3 decades now, right?
A long time, yeah, 3 decades, because 3 decades plus. Telling my age.
I know you probably told some of these stories a zillion times, but I appreciate your patience and enduring my audience and not for the people who may not know. How did you get your start in boxing?
The crazy thing is I didn't grow up thinking I want to be a boxer. I'm from a small town in southern West Virginia where boxing isn't even really an option. But we have this thing they call tough man contests where you box 3 1-minute rounds, basically just against anybody off the street. Anybody can enter. The winner gets $1,000 and, you get to be the champion. So that's why I was in college. I thought it would be a great idea for whatever reason. I do not know. But I thought it'd be a great idea. I thought it'd be a lot of fun. And when you're in college, $1,000 goes a long way. So, we had a fun party and I won this tough man contest and really got hooked on boxing.
What was your major? What were you in college for?
Well, I really went on. I'm going to be straight up. I wanted to be a physical therapist or physical therapist assistant, but I just didn't have the brain for the math. So I decided I would be a teacher and hopefully be a coach at the time. I played basketball in college and really loved sports and competition. So I thought, well, you know what? I think I would love to be a coach, and I went into education.
But you chose to stay in it. You could have just quit after that first tough man contest, right? What was you saying? Hey, man, I think I want to keep doing this and see how far I can go.
It was the craziest thing because at that time, we're talking back in 1987, and women were not really being out there, like women couldn't even box as an amateur, and no woman was getting TV time and exposure with a great promoter like Don King. So I had nobody to look and say, oh, if that person did it, I can do it. So each thing just got a little bigger and a little bigger and a little more fun. And I loved my job. I thought it was the greatest competition. It was the greatest adrenaline rush to be out there in front of the fans and to actually be fighting somebody. And then I was blessed with a little bit of power, so I was able to knock people out. And, it just made me fall deeper and deeper in love with the sport.
My man, Ryder the Storm, he said, salute Martin Nash. He said, I woke up early for this. I normally do a late night show. So this is my audience is like, what's going on here?
Right.
Oh, we have a special guest. Absolutely. You are a promoter as well, and we want to ask you a bit about the business. How did you get into boxing promotion? How do you go make that transition?
Well, the truth is, I loved my job. I loved being a boxer, but I was getting old. I had a stroke, and they told my career was done as far as being in the ring. So I tried training people. I tried managing fighters, and then the only thing I hadn't tried was being a promoter. And I thought, well, let me be on somebody else's journey with them to put that belt around their waist, because I know how excited I was about it, and to be part of somebody's ride and help them achieve that would be a great goal for me. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to promote some of these young guys and let them understand the hard work that it takes to get to that place where you get to put the belt around your waist.
And what's the name of your promotion company for the people who don't know how they can find your website?
Christy Martin Promotions. We're out there, ChristyMartinPromotions.com. I'm all over social media. Look us up. We try to stay busy. I do a lot of stuff in boxing, but again, with the domestic violence awareness as well.
You do have an upcoming event that you are a part of. Can you speak on that?
So we are Christy Martin Promotions is the promoter of Face with BLKPRIME, bringing ADRIEN BRONER, AB, back to Atlanta. And, we're totally excited about it. We're going to be at the Gateway Arena February 25th, and tickets went on sale last week. And, they're selling quickly. So if you're out there in Atlanta or need an excuse to come to Atlanta, buy your ticket, come check out AB.
Okay. Talk to us a little bit about being a woman in the business. How difficult is it being a woman in such a male-dominated sport?
It is tough because it's the good old boys network. And so it's hard to break through. It's hard to get the same respect. But I do think that a lot of the people that are in the business now, they know my passion. They respect my career and know that I'm just not one of those people off the street that decided today I want to be a boxing promoter. I've paid my dues to the sport, and mostly I'm getting pretty good respect. Lots of guys are working with me. So I'm happy. I'm content. I'm confident about where we are right now.
Speak to us more about what is your day-to-day job like? You wake up early in the morning. I know you wake up very early, as I've learned as we were setting this up. What is the life of a promoter like? What is your day-to-day roles and duties like for the young ladies and young men out there who are inspired by your story and want to try your journey, other than getting punched in the face? They don't want to do that part. They just want to skip that. Let's skip that and go straight to boxing promotions. How would they do that?
You know what people don't understand as a promoter? They think you just show up the night of the fight and everything is in place. I wake up very early doing room lists, doing flights, doing helping make matches. I'm hands-on, so I want to be involved in every part of the promotion. It's very busy. I mean, every day there's something, and you're dealing with a lot of personalities when we put these fight cards together. So usually it's not the fighter that's difficult to deal with, but it's the manager, the trainer, the people around the fighter. Make it very stressful some days.
How do you deal with that?
Well, I try to be very calm on the phone, and sometimes I scream after I hang up. But you just have to keep on keeping on. I know what has to be done to get to the finish line, so you just sometimes have to back up and redirect and go at it a different angle. But we just keep plugging away, and so far we've been able to get it done. And I feel Christy Martin Promotions, we have a really good team with me, and we're going to continue to keep getting it done.
We've always heard these sad stories about fighters getting taken advantage of by promoters. What does Christy Martin Promotions do differently to make sure that, hey, we take care of our fighters and do right by our fighters versus all these stories that we hear from the past?
Well, what I try to explain to my fighters, I'll give you a great story. I had a fighter call me actually last year, and he said to me, he's a young fighter, had only 2 fights. He said, Christy, I have this really great opportunity to go to be a firefighter and go. I have to go to school, and so I'm going to have to take some time away from boxing. Should I do that? And I said, absolutely, because tomorrow you could have an accident and never box again. You could decide you never want to box again, but if you go to this firefighting school and you become a firefighter, you're going to always have a job. And that's the kind of stuff that I talk to the young fighters about. always have a fallback plan, because boxing promises, nothing. And there's just a very, very small percent that actually makes it in this sport, in this business.
Speaking of this business, we always hear about somebody pop dirty for blood, for pop dirty for this, pop dirty for that. What can be done to clean up the sport? Can anything be done to clean up the sport, or could the penalties be stiffer? I was talking to Mike Williams the other day, and he and we always talk about this. He said, Mark, man, these jokers, man, if they're gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat. If they get caught, they get caught. I said, well, what about stiffer penalties? Because if I suspend you for 6 months or a year, and you only fight once a year every 6 months anyway, did I really suspend you? He was like, yeah, give him 3 years, then 6, and then for life. What do you think about that, ma'am?
That's probably a great idea. I mean, it's hard, and it's like with all other sports. You have people that are going to cheat, and then they get tested, they get caught, then they figure out how to beat the test. So it is tough. It's tough to catch the people. Me being the athlete that I was, I can't imagine cheating. I mean, why do you want to cheat to beat someone? But it doesn't. That's not the way everybody sees it. I think the WBC has implemented a great testing program where they can randomly blood test anyone. And we know that with the urine test, it's a lot easier to beat that. The blood test is probably much harder. So I think, if every fighter would just enroll in this random testing, it would probably help slow, at least not stop it. Probably nothing's going to ever stop cheating, but it would slow it down. They would be afraid to take the risk and have stiffer suspensions for sure.
Do you think it was changed? Do you think that would really work? Do you think the powers that be want these things to change?
That's another good question. That's a really great question. I think they want it to change at a level that doesn't affect them. Right?
I got to put a case on them. Let me hit my drop right there. Put it oh no. Oh. All right. That's fair enough. What do you think? And like I said, you've done pretty much everything in this business, right? You've promoted, fought yourself, you managed, you was a champ. You've seen the highs and the lows of lows in the sport, in and out the ring. This sport is very unforgiving. Why don't fighters have like a union? We hear these sad stories about guys end up broke later. They don't have money. Nobody talks to them about financial literacy. Nobody talks to fighters about, like you was talking about that fighter, like, hey, you need insurance. Do you have a will? Do you have an LLC? Because you can write off some of these things. Nobody tells fighters about this. Why is that?
That's a great statement. In the NBA, in the NFL, everything, they have rookie classes where these guys go and are taught about saving their money, about investing, about all this stuff that you just mentioned. But with boxing, it's just wide open, and it's so hard when people want to talk about a union. How do you decide who gets paid what? Because you have these guys down here are fighting 4 and 6 round fights for peanuts, basically. And then you have, the Floyds and the Oscar De La Hoyas, the Mike Tysons that are making millions and millions of dollars. So how do you figure out who gets paid what? How do you figure out just how the insurance would work? So the retirement, how do you figure that out and it be fair to everyone?
Sometimes it's don't they have a pension though, right? At the end of their career, they have a pension, or because it seems like to me, I was talking to Rachel last night and we were speaking about how there's not a lot of safeguards for fighters, but the promoter can call California and say, hey, look, this fighter needs to be pulled out of this Georgia fight. We have unified rules in boxing. 12 rounds, no standing 8 count, only the referee. They have unified rules. The commissions, the sanctioning bodies, the commissions, it's unified rules for everybody except this fighter is just out here on his own sometimes, it seems. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
It absolutely makes sense. And it is too bad. It's too bad. And I do think that if we get some way, basically, look, when you apply for your federal ID card, and that's when you become a pro, you have to get a federal ID card so you can box in any state. At that point, there should be, maybe it's just something that you get on YouTube, you know, but something that fighters have to listen to. And some of it may stick, that this is what you have to be careful with. This is, watch out for your money on this. Take 10% of every purse, even if you're only getting $2,000, take 10% and put it in some kind of investment. I don't think people or fighters are aware of the different ways that they can save their money. They can protect themselves. They're just, most of the fighters, myself included, look, I loved my job, and that's what you want to do. You just want to go out there and be the best at what you're doing. And you're really not always thinking about down the road, you know, because you're always going to get that next payday. You're always going to have that next big fight. And sometimes that next big payday or that next big fight doesn't come.
As a promoter, well, let's go back a little bit. As a champion, right? When did you realize, like, wow, I am her? I am Christy. Like, when you realized your life was starting to change?
I'm not sure that I ever really realized it. I did have some cool things happen, though. I mean, I was in 1996 after fighting on the card with Tyson and Bruno on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I remember I was walking down Rodeo Drive, and somebody actually came out of the Versace store and asked me for an autograph. And I was like, oh my God, there's like real superstars, whether it be, you know, Hollywood actors or musicians or whatever. There's real stars that walk down the street, and this person wants to come out and ask me for an autograph. So that was pretty cool. Like I said, I loved my job. I would still be doing it if I could. You know, I think boxing, it was a great outlet for me. It was a great way of life. The training and the workout is the best. I think even if you don't want to compete, it's a great workout to go. It's not boring. You can definitely get in great shape, lose weight, all those things. So, you know, like I said, I love my job.
I'm sure by now you know, hey, look, I'm Christy. I'm an inspiration to several generations at this time. You've been an inspiration to millions of little girls growing up, and I'll probably be remiss if I found one woman who loves boxing, who was in the sport, who don't know who you are and what you do. So back then, though, who was the Christy Martin for Christy Martin? Like, who inspired you? How did you, who did you look up to?
That's what is the craziest thing, because there, as I said, there wasn't someone that had done it before me, really, that I could look to and say, wow, she did it. So if she could do it, I can do it. You know, I kind of made my own path, and I'm proud of that. And I feel like, you know, Don King, as much crap as people want to talk about him, as far as women's boxing goes, he should get big props, because had he not given me that opportunity, Laila Ali would have never seen two women fight. So we wouldn't have had Laila in the ring, probably. You know, and then so on and so forth. All these women fighters that have come, you know, after me, there were tons before me. And everybody broke down another wall. Everybody broke down another wall and made it a little more possible for me. And then I feel like Don King and Mike Tyson, Showtime, all gave me that huge push, and we kind of crashed through the ceiling.
Like muted. There we go. Talk to us about that legendary night. Since you brought up, you faced Laila Ali, right?
Yeah. I did face Laila back in oh my goodness, a long time ago, like 2003 maybe. We fought in Mississippi, and you know, Laila's a big girl. I give her all the props, because she could have lived on her dad's name, but you know what? She went to the gym and learned how to fight. She was trained by Roger Mayweather, so she was in Vegas getting the best training, getting the best sparring. You know, she did her work. She worked hard, and nothing but respect. Even though with the hype to promote the fight, you know, I had to be the bad guy, and that was okay. It was a great night. I told her recently, I'm like, Laila, you knocked me out in the first round. You hit me high on the head, and I was done. I was able to hang in there for a couple more rounds, but I was done early. She was a big woman.
Do you feel like that fight happened too late in your career, and the weight and you just feel like you had a lot against you, because you guys did fight later in your career? It was different. You guys, just seeing you guys in the face-off, it was like, yo, this is going to be difficult. But you had faced bigger women before, so do you feel like she had just too many advantages at that time of your career?
Laila's a big woman. I had never been in there with anybody as big as Laila. and as I said, she really went. Had I fought her earlier in her career, I think it would have been totally different. But she was getting better and better as time was going on. I was getting older and older, less active. It's one of those things. Kind of pass the torch. And look, it's on you now, Laila. See what you can do for women's boxing. I did my time. I did what I could do to help promote women's boxing. Now it's up to you. So it was kind of passing the torch that night.
For those who don't know, you have probably one of the best, also heartbreaking and traumatic stories that I've ever seen. It's on Netflix. Can you talk to us about how that was put together? Netflix approached you. Did you approach them? And you also have a book. You're an author as well. Talk to us about that. It's called Deal with the Devil. It's on Netflix, and it talks about your historic rise, but also a very dark side of things that was going on behind the scenes that none of us probably knew what was going on. Can you talk to us about how that was brought to you, and the courage that it takes to tell a story like that, where it's not just talking about, hey, it could have just been, I'm Christy and I'm a Hall of Famer, I'm the best, but you chose to tell another side, and you chose to talk about your survival as a victim of domestic violence. How was that brought to you, and tell us about that?
So I got a call one day from McLean Way. He and his brother do the Untold series on Netflix. Of course, my instincts were like, oh, sure, this is going to happen. Sure, Netflix wants to do a documentary. But as we see now, it actually did happen, and it was it was very healing in some ways. That I sat down. Laura Brownson was the producer, who was awesome. We had many, many conversations. And I felt like from the time I woke up in the hospital after being shot and stabbed, I said, God left me here for a reason. And that reason is to talk about domestic violence, make people aware that domestic violence doesn't discriminate. Doesn't matter how much money you make, doesn't matter race, religion, nothing. It is in every aspect, every place in this world. And the more people that can be aware that it's not just about bruises. That's one of my things. My situation, believe it or not, wasn't really physical until it was physical. And that was the night that he shot me, stabbed me, and left me for dead. But I feel like I have to be open and honest and let people know that if this stuff is happening to them, they're not alone. They can reach out to Christy's Champs, which is all over social media. They can reach out to, in almost every city, there's a domestic violence group that is willing to help. Not only can they help, but they will help. You just have to get to that point where I'm tired and I need help. And that is the place it's hard for many victims to get.
How do you have the courage to talk about this now? And like me watching the movie and talking to you now, I can almost feel my voice cracking talking to you. I want to cry for you. How do you find the courage to tell this story over? Because I'm sure you've told this story over and over and over. But I'm sure it's not numbing to you. You still feel those, this is your life. How do you find the courage to talk about this and give other women courage?
It's really, like I said, I 100% believe that God left me here for this reason. And if I don't go out there and talk to people and make them more aware of domestic violence, then I'm not living up to why God left me here. So it's something I have to do. And I believe that I share my story. I always tell people when I'm speaking, I share my story, not for your sympathy, but to hopefully be able to give you my strength. And if I can get this strength to get up off the floor and get out of the house on that night, so can you, because there's nothing special about me. You can do it if I can do it. And sometimes that's all we need. We just need to see somebody else has been able to walk that path. And then that gives us the strength and the courage to know that we can walk that path.
Yeah, you're a Hall of Famer in and out the ring. I think you've been in 6 Hall of Fames. Like everybody who has a Hall of Fame anywhere, you are there. That night you were stabbed how many times, and where were you stabbed at?
Yeah, the first stabs were like right under my arm on my side. Then there were 3 of those, and then the 4th one came through my breast, and like blood went everywhere. And then he cut my calf muscle almost completely from my leg. I had stabs. He cut I was cut all over, little stabs, and then he pistol whipped me, beat my head into the dresser, My ear was ripped off from my head. It was crazy, but when the time came and he stood at my feet and he held the 9mm, my own pink 9mm right at me, and I told him, I said, you don't have the balls to shoot me, and he shot me. But as I say, God has a plan for me, and that's to go out there and help somebody else not have to walk down that path that I did.
Where were you shot at, Christy?
He missed my heart by 3 inches. So right in the chest. Actually, the crazy thing is he shot me through the same hole that he stabbed me through. So I'm guessing that in his mind, he thought that was my heart. But, missed.
So he leaves you for dead, leaves and go into the other room and takes a shower. Tell the audience where the story goes from there.
So I'm laying there on my bedroom floor, bleeding, scared. And I remember looking up through like the register, the air conditioning in the ceiling. And it was like my eyes, I was looking straight at God, straight into God's eyes. And I said, please help me. Get me out of here some way. And it was immediately I heard the shower water turn on. And when I heard the shower water turn on, I knew that was God telling me, get up and get out. And now I had tried to get up many times throughout the night. This attack lasted for about an hour. And every time I would start to raise up, like blood would start squirting out of these places and it would scare me. So I would lay back down. But this time I was able to get up and get out. I actually picked up my car keys and was going to drive myself to the hospital. But when I get to my car, it was the wrong keys to that car. So I had a choice to either go to the middle of the road and, as I say, carjack somebody or go back in the house and find the right keys. But I wasn't going back in that house. So I went to the middle of the road and Rick Cole, my angel, picked me up and took me to the hospital.
And Rick Cole was just a stranger passing down.
Absolutely. He was just passing by. He lived actually in the neighborhood across the street. I had never met him before. But he stopped and picked me up and took me to the hospital. And as we were driving, I would tell him, please don't let me die. And then the crazy thing, I would tell him, sir, I'm so sorry. I'm bleeding all over your back seat. And the hospital was only like 4 minutes away. So we were there quickly.
Did he know you were a boxer and a champion and, was a celebrity at the time? No,
he didn't. We had never met each other. He said that he was familiar with, I lived in the corner house, but we had never met each other.
I'm of the belief that domestic violence just doesn't start like that, where you just walk in the house, stabbing and shooting. I believe it escalates. It starts with verbal abuse, starts with the mental abuse. What would you say to that?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It does. It starts out in most situations, I believe, just like you said, it starts out with, verbally, little put downs, isolation. That's a big thing. Like you find yourself, like I had all these friends. I know all these people. And then little by little by little, I realized I'm on this island by myself. But he's telling me that I'm the only person that loves you. I'm the only person that's going to look out for you. I'm all you need. So you just start to believe it. And he would tell me that no one, my family didn't love me. My friends weren't really friends. They just wanted tickets to Tyson fights. It was just always a mental put down. And at first I would fight back, verbally, I would argue back, but then it's just easier to take it after a while. You just get that beat down. And so that's what he did. After a while, it was just like, okay, Jim, it's easier to go along with what you say than to fight back.
And again, what would you tell young women who are going through similar things and don't realize, like, hey, that's abuse, young lady, like you don't have to take that, or hey, it's gonna get worse if you don't nip this in the butt. Like, what can you tell them that I'm sure somebody probably told them before, but they wasn't a Hall of Famer. They wasn't Hall of Famer Christy. So maybe they might accept that information different from you. Please talk to the young ladies.
It's like this. I tell everybody, we talk to the young boys about don't be physical with the girls, this and that. But we don't talk to the young girls about being strong. And this is what we need to do more of. We need to to explain to these young girls that they don't have to take put downs. They don't have to take feeling second best. They don't have to take anything that makes them not feel confident. And that's number one. And at a young age, we have to start improving the strength and courage of our females. But if you're in a relationship, there's so many people out there that want to help you. And there's so many people out there that can help you. But what abusers are great at, they make you feel like they're the only one. They're not. They're not. And don't fall for it. And once you start going down that path, you can go down it so quickly that you feel like there's no way back. There's no way out. There's always a way out. And when you make up your mind and you get ready to go, you have to go, because the most dangerous time is in with the 2-week period of time that you leave. So once you go. Don't keep going back and forth, because that's just improving the odds that something will happen in a really bad way.
Speak to me about that timeline. Why did you say the most dangerous time is 2 weeks, not 2 days, not 2 years, 2 months? Why 2 weeks? What happens?
That is just the time when there's most homicides. When someone leaves, that's the time frame that the abuser will find them and many times murder them. It's just the most dangerous time. And going back and forth is, as long as you're out of his life or out of her life and away, that's where you need to stay. Coming back to them just gives them the opportunity to continue to abuse you, and gives them the opportunity that this time it may be worse than just verbal or emotional. It could be deadly.
I couldn't agree more. And this is your story. Like I said, your story is a story of survival. So so I don't want to get people too far down. Don't feel down and sad. Just be rejoiceful, right? Because you are a survivor, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I tell people I have a lot of titles. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm all these things, a champion, a Hall of Famer. But the title that I am most proud of is domestic violence survivor, because that is the title that's going to help me change people, change other people's lives. It changed my life, but it's really going to help me change other people's lives as well.
I have this part of the show. I want to ask you, the hardest I face, right? The toughest opponent, things like that. Who was one of you'll say, hey, this lady has probably one of the best chins. I hit her with everything but the kitchen sink. She wouldn't go away. Who was one of the people that you fought that had like, yo, she has probably the best chin ever?
Well, I mean, I hit Leila with a good shot, but she's just too big for me. My wife, Lisa, I hit her with some good shots too. I think I rocked her a little bit maybe, but not a lot. Yeah. Every punch I threw, I tried to knock people out. So yeah, probably Laila and Lisa definitely have the best chins.
Who had the best footwork? Like, hey, she's running from me all the time. I just can't catch her.
Hands down, Belinda Lara Quinte. No question.
You said that one real quick. Why
Absolutely.
You didn't even have to think about that one.
Nope.
Okay. Best jab. Who had one of the best jabs you ever saw?
Wow, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about that one. Okay. I don't remember just oh wow, I can't get around their jab. Nobody.
I got my questions up then. I'll get better questions for our next interview.
No.
Who hit you the hardest? Like, whoa, this is the hardest punching woman I ever faced.
Yeah, well, of course, Laila had great punching power. Lisa's a strong woman. Lisa hit me hard. Danielle Summers, she was strong. She was from Belgium. Let's see. Yeah, Valerie Mahfoud was just tough as hell. That's the best chin for sure. Valerie Mahfoud.
Okay, there we go. You mentioned your wife Lisa. You did face her in the ring. In the documentary, you said, hey, I had to outsmart her, and you talked about studying legends to get ready for that fight. Talk to us about learning to love again after being through such a traumatic situation and learning how to trust. Talk to us about that process, because some people feel like hey, I'm never gonna love again. I'm never gonna trust again. They believe that guy. Hey, nobody's ever gonna love you again. Like, talk to us about learning how to love, learn how to trust, and being open about your sexuality.
Being open about the sexuality was the easiest part. Um, Learning how to trust somebody is still a work in progress. And it's been, we're at 12, 13 years now. Yeah, it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust after 20 years of just hearing somebody put you down, and every positive thing that happened, it was because of them, and never anything that I did. It was always because what he did. So it was hard. The trust thing is hard. I'm still working on it, and the love thing goes with the trust. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's tough. It's like you put yourself out there to be vulnerable, which anybody does in any relationship, in any love situation. But it's a little harder when you've been through 20 years of emotional, mental beatdowns on a daily basis. Daily basis. There was something every day that he was able to have something negative about.
Every day?
Every day. I mean, it was almost like I was never away from him, not one day in the whole time I was married to him, not one day. And he would just find something always. I mean, as something even like my agreement with Don King, it was always about what he had done, why it was about him. It had nothing to do with me. When I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, it was because he did something. It had nothing to, come on. It was all about Deidre Gogarty, and I put on one hell of a fight. That's why I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It had nothing to do with Jim Martin. But everything that happened was always, anything that happened positive, it was what he had done. If something fell through, which in boxing and then just in life, things fall through all the time, it was because I screwed something up. I mean, yeah. At one time, he even told me, "Oh, you're too fat. Don's not going to put you on TV anymore." Like, okay. But
Do you feel like he was jealous of your success?
sometimes I think it got to him that, he would say he created me and he would destroy me. And that's what he really thought he would do at the end. He thought he would destroy me by telling people that I was gay. And I'm sure some people are nice to my face, but have, negative things to say behind my back. But the world of the boxing world and the world in general, it seems like they're okay with it. It doesn't matter. It hasn't changed. Many people, some people, yes, but not many, of how they feel or how they interact with me.
Yeah, because you're from that era where people just didn't talk about those things. Like, no, you had to be quiet about it. It was very hush hush, right?
Absolutely. I mean, back in the early 90s, when really my career was the middle 90s, it would have been very hard to come out and say I'm gay, and to still have I feel like the love and respect that I have now.
Okay, I have a couple questions from the audience. I appreciate your time. I'm not going to take too much of your time because I know you have a lot of things to do and promoting this event. Sir Senior said, ask her what is her advice for rebuilding after the loss, after domestic violence. Do you mean after your first? You mean after a fight? What do you, sir? Break the question down. Elaborate a little bit more. But what did you learn from your first loss in the ring, and also what did you learn from that dealing with that domestic violence thing? I'll reword this question.
Yeah, well, dealing with domestic violence is just, you know what? I think what I learned the most is that there's always people out there that really do want to help you. And I was so isolated, and my professional and my personal and professional lives were so intertwined. It was just really hard for me to break away. After my first loss in the ring, let's see, when did my first loss? I lost early in my career.
Yeah, then you went on like a 19 run. 19
yeah,
run
I think I lost early. Yeah, I lost in a fight in Bristol, Tennessee. It was really close. Yeah, I think I learned the business of boxing is all about who you're connected to sometimes. And I wasn't connected to the right people early on.
Cooking with the Champ. It's my guy Bam Bam. He was a kickboxer. he says, why did she feel she had to stay in that abusive relationship so long?
You know, it's hard because that's one of the questions people say, well, why don't you just leave? Well, if it were that easy, we probably wouldn't have domestic violence because people would just leave, right?
Yeah.
But as I said, in my situation, personal and professional were so intertwined. If I left, where was it going to leave my professional life? And I was growing and getting bigger and, you know, bigger and more successful with boxing. So I didn't want my personal life to cause me to lose that. So I stayed. And then the truth is, when I felt like my boxing career was over, that's when I, turned to cocaine. And then after that, battling with the drug addiction, I'm like, no, it's time to go. So once my professional life was over, really, my boxing career was over, then I felt like I can get away because my personal life should be back to me now. It doesn't matter that if I'm gay or if I just want to be away from Jim Martin, I can do that now.
How do you feel about him now?
You know, I know that people say in order to get over anything that happens in a negative that you have to forgive the person. It's been 13 years and I just can't forgive somebody that tried to kill me. And maybe that's something I need to talk to God more about. But at this point, 13 years later, I still get these urges. Like I would like to just, you know, wring his neck, snap, you know, hit him, punch him, whatever, because I can't believe that he tried to kill me after all I had done for him. I mean, this man, he wore everything he wore was Versace. Everything, you know, he had like tens of bottles of cologne. He had just Corvettes, motorcycles, Hummers. He had everything. And he tried to kill me. And he had all those things because of the effort, the work that I did.
I'm glad you said that, Christy. I'm so glad you kept it 100. Let me give you the drop. She said, no, fuck him. Day.
I mean, it's so the truth. I mean, I remember he one time told his brother that the hardest decision he had when he woke up was if he was going to drive, you know, a Corvette or he was going to drive his Hummer or, you know, ride his Harley. Like, first of all, I don't like that arrogance. But yeah, he was just a dick.
Like, no, those are my Harleys. That's my Corvette.
Yeah.
I just let you ride in it.
Right.
Oh man. You are a truly phenomenal woman. Like I said, you are an inspiration to several generations. It's very rare someone of your class is around, still thriving, doing well for themselves, but not only that, still are inspiring new generations every day in and outside the ring. You have an upcoming event. I'll be remiss if I see. I think somebody. Are you cool with taking a couple calls?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna drop the phone line because I see we have a lot of ladies in the audience today. I have a lot of guys here too, and like I said, your story is an inspiration to an entire generation. So I'm gonna see if we can get a couple of those and give you guys time to ask one question or get one comment in to the legend herself, because it's a rarity that we have somebody of your class up here. Like your story is amazing. Let me make sure I got this plugged up. So I'll leave the phone number up there and I'll drop the link, give people time to beam in and have a little FaceTime with you if they want to and ask a question to you. When can you talk to us about the BLKPRIME event with AB and talk to us about what can fans expect from this fight? You are the promoter of record for this fight. Talk to us about that event.
So we're gonna have a great event. It's at the Gateway Arena over there in Atlanta. You guys are all familiar with in the Atlanta area.
Yes, ma'am. I'm right here in the city.
Right. AB is, you know, he's coming back after a little bit of time away. He's excited. He's training his butt off. I mean, he looks great. He's getting in great shape. He's going to take on Michael Williams Jr., which most people are not giving much chance or not, you know, like, well, how did this guy get this opportunity? Why does he not get this opportunity? Michael Williams Jr. has been out there for like 5 years now, fighting everybody that they put in there with him. He did fight in Madison Square Garden. I think that was last year, and he lost his only fight that he's lost. But look, this kid, I think he was a little bit stage fright. Here he goes from fighting in the Carolinas to being in Madison Square Garden on a top-ranked card on TV. And maybe he was a little overwhelmed. He had a little stage fright. He got knocked down a few times. He got up every time. That alone gives him that's why he should get this opportunity. He got knocked down, but he got up.
He fought 7 times that year too. Might have been a little burnt out, and he fought at 140. He shouldn't have been fighting at 140.
He had to overdo it to make 140. So at 147, he's going to be much more comfortable. He's going to be stronger. And look, this man has a game plan. He and his dad have worked on the plan. Roy Jones Jr. will be in the corner. I think there's going to be a lot of people surprised.
Yeah. I talked to him. Like I said, I've been following him since before that. He was actually Mike Williams Sr., Mike Williams Jr. was my first professional boxer interview. And he was a young man. Yeah, so everything is, and so even after that loss, I sent him a long message, and we stayed in communication since then. So everything is coming full circle, and they came back to do an interview with me and say, "Mark, we're back, baby."
Right. We have some good representatives from Atlanta. We have Hot Rod. I'm sure most people are familiar with in Atlanta. We have Joshua Flanagan, who was like 4-0, exciting fighter to watch. Dante Williams is going to be fighting heavyweight, undefeated. So we have some local flavor coming to this show as well. It's not just like AB and we're bringing a bunch of guys from all over the country. We're right there in Atlanta. We're coming to the people. You know, we're not just coming to the city. We're bringing the people that are from Atlanta to the fight card as well.
Do you have anybody from Christy Martin Promotions on the card? Any of your fighters up there?
I actually do not.
No.
I do not.
Any reason behind that?
No, I mean, I tried. I tried to work it out, but it just didn't happen. But it's okay. We'll continue on, and it's gonna be a great night. We're gonna have 11 bouts, and again, everybody's gonna be matched well, and it should be a great night of boxing. Tickets are on sale with Ticketmaster. I mean, these tickets are $40. You can get in to see AB fight for $40, all the way up to $400.
How has it been working with BLKPRIME? Because they are newer in the business, and some people have been giving them a bum rap, especially with this fight right here, having not one replacement but 2 replacements. This is the 3rd opponent for AB. How has it been working with them, and how's the communication been on that side?
You know, because they are new and they don't know all the ins and outs of how the boxing promotion stuff works, it's been challenging. But they're getting it, and so far everything has been good. The opponent situation was just a little tough. Again, it's when you have new people coming into the business, they don't always know how it works. Unfortunately, we went after 2 opponents that were tied to other promoters, and it just couldn't work. Again, Michael Williams Jr. is coming in. He stepped in on really a short notice to fight somebody like AB. And he's going to come over, bring his fans. I think it's going to be a great night of fights in Atlanta.
Okay. I think everybody got a little stage fright. Normally they just beam right in or call right in. So I guess they got a little stage fright. It's okay. I want to say this to you before I let you go. What would be a message that you would give to people who want to be a promoter? Actually, matter of fact, let's go back a little bit. As far as being a promoter, we had this debate the other day, right? And we were talking about the business. Some people said, hey, when I'm your promoter, my job is to just promote the event. I don't supposed to promote you and your brand all day. Some people said, no, when you sign to me and my promotional company, I'm supposed to make you a star. Talk to us about what is the role of the promoter?
Well, I think it is the promoter's job to make stars. I mean, look, as a promoter, we have to make money in order to make enough money to pay you. So we have to build these fighters up and make them stars, make more people want to see them. I do shows over in Myrtle Beach, Christy Martin Promotions. We do shows over there, and that's what I'm searching for, is that guy or girl that can sell tickets and fill the house. And look, I'm all about getting behind you, putting my name with you, and let's shock the world. Let's put some belts. As I told my guy Johnny Langston, who was with Don King, he's a cruiserweight champion. All we're doing now is collecting belts. Same thing with Keemon Evans, my guy who is NABA Continental America's light heavyweight champion. At this point, we're just collecting belts. We want to keep building our reputation and finally we'll put that world championship belt around our waist.
Yeah, that's King. I was watching some of his fights the other day on YouTube. What do you think what is the separation? Because there's a lot of guys out there that can fight. Some guys are undefeated, but some guys they're just bona fide stars. How do you, as a promoter, find out and you say, hey, this guy has it in and out the ring? What do you look for?
It is that exactly that it. What is it? If we knew what it was, then we could probably try to instill that in more fighters.
Yeah, we could put it in a bottle and sell it if we knew what it was, right?
Right. But we don't, because we don't know why do the fans take on to this person and not this person. And sometimes it's because, we know guys that can straight up fight, but the fans don't care to see them fight for whatever reason. Like the fans don't get behind them. Then we know guys that can't fight really at all, but have huge social media following. It's a slippery slope, and you have to try to find the balance of guys that can fight good enough, but yet we can have a good fan base to follow them, buy tickets and buy pay-per-views, and lead them to that opportunity to fight for a title.
When you talk to guys who I got somebody want to ask a question for you. I think this is my guy Champion Heart. Bam Bam right here. Champion Heart, talk to us, bro.
So my brother, salute to you, man.
Welcome home. How you doing, my brother?
Oh man, I'm out here on the road getting it, man. You know what I do.
Yeah. We got a legend in the building tonight, man.
Most definitely, man. Salute to the great Christy Martin. Man, I've watched you for years, man, and I really admire, your courage. I really admire you really doing what you did for women's boxing. You're definitely a survivor. I watched the Netflix documentary. You're definitely a survivor. So, salute to you.
Thank you. Are you in Atlanta, or where are you?
I'm in Iowa right now. It's like 7 degrees. I'm trying to get out of here.
I'm in Texas, and it's ice, so there's like nothing,
right.
Nobody's moving out here.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you look like the guys on the news. Everybody's got their yellow on, reflecting. Right. I'm like, no, it's not bad like that in Atlanta.
Right. I live in Texas, but I'm transporting right now because I'm a truck driver. But I live in Texas.
I got you. Well, it's all frozen up here too.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you now the fight with Laila. Laila was so much bigger than you. Why did you decide to take that fight? Was it just because of the, you tell me. I don't want to assume. You tell me why you decided to take that fight.
You know what? I wanted to show everybody that I was better than her. Number one, I'm a warrior. I'm an athlete. I'm a champion. I wanted to show everybody, look, no. I don't care how big she is. I can still beat her. That didn't happen. But that was the number one reason. Of course, going to the bank didn't hurt anything. But I really took the fight because I thought I could win. I would never. I always said that once boxing becomes a job to me, like a job, like I'm only doing it because I want to get paid. I don't want to do it anymore.
I can respect that. I can definitely respect that. That's all good. I'm not gonna hold you up, man. Again, salute to you, and I'm in the chat.
Thank you. Be safe.
No problem. Definitely, man. Good interview, Mark. Man, you doing it, brother.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to be great, man. Thanks for allowing me the opportunity to entertain you guys. We got another one. This is my guy right here. That guy Eclipse. Talk to us. Your mic's muted, bro. Unmute your mic.
I got you. Yeah, what's going on, neighbors? What's going on? Salute to you, Nash. Hey, how you doing, champ? Man, good. What a pleasure. What an honor. I was just wanting your opinion about you being the first lady of the squared circle, like I typed in the chat. Christy Martin. Wow. So what are your thoughts on the transgender boxing? and how that's been going on and how the boxing commission has been trying to navigate it. I don't want to lead you, but I've been very vocal. I think it's a slippery slope. I don't like it.
Let me tell you, I look, I respect anybody's opinion. If they want to transgender, I think anybody that wants to do that, that's yes, good, go for it. But I think in anything in life, when we make decisions as big as that, we know that making that decision, we're going to lose other opportunities. One of the opportunities that I feel like you lose is competing in sports. You cannot have, in my opinion, and you know, I get a lot of shit from this because I am gay. You cannot be a man and transgender into becoming a woman and compete against women in any sport, and especially a combat sport, any sport, but especially a sport like boxing.
Mauricio said, to be fair, Mauricio did say that's not what they're doing. So if the way they had it set up, so if you were a man to transition to a woman, you will be fighting other men that transition to women as well. So, and he said, so to be fair, it's not going to be that.
Right, but there have been other cases where people that had transitioned, were trying to fight women. And
the one fighter,
yes, been trying to do something for transgender, and that's great, as long as we stay in that competition and that, you know, everybody transgendering in the same direction is competing against each other.
Yeah, because there was a swimmer somewhere that was competing against women, and
come on, man,
was looking like Michael Phelps out there crushing little girls' hearts.
How does that even make you feel like you're gonna? How does that make you feel like a winner?
I don't
want to. Christy, I don't want to cancel. Don't get me to talking. I'm gonna let you do the talking, champ.
Well, no, honestly, that's why outside of just giving you your flowers and just, you know, it's just a pleasure to speak with you and actually meet you via the YouTube streets. Nice to meet you. You know what I'm saying? Love from Ohio. But yeah, I figured that you being who you are, you would have a unique perspective. And actually, I was expecting there to be like some distance between our opinions. It's amazing to see that there's very little daylight between us. Just pragmatically, it's just a bad look. Like, you know, it puts us in a weird place.
I'm an athlete. Would I want to compete against a man that had transgendered? And I get it. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll get in trouble. Trust me. I'll kiss some heat, but it is what it is.
All right, close one more before I let you go.
Okay. All right. What would be your fantasy, whether it's a real bout or exhibition bout, that you would like to see in the next couple of years? Now that you're out here doing your little rich flex on the promoter game, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, what would be the Christy Martin promotions? And they're going to remember you all the way to 3023.
That I'm going to be in, or that I would have somebody else in?
That either way. How would be a marquee that you could just see as somebody so immersed in the sport? What would be a marquee that you would see? Man, I got to see that card.
You know what? As far as like the exhibition stuff and all the social media goes, I think that Mike Tyson against Jake Paul is the biggest thing out there, because we all love Mike Tyson, and so many people out there are Jake Paul fans and actually think that he can fight. And I do think he's getting better, but yeah, I think that would be the greatest. I could go to the bank on that one.
Shout out to Clips. Thanks, Clips. Let me get this next one in. This is my guy right here, OTBBoxingSchool. Talk to me, OTB. Got a question for the legend, the Hall of Famer in the flesh right here. Talk to him.
Yes, first of all, I appreciate everything you put into the sport of women's boxing. Man, I appreciate you, big bro, all the work you putting in. But my question for Christy would be concerning Alycia Baumgardner this weekend possibly becoming the next undisputed women's champion, and the stage that women's boxing has eclipsed to since you personally were a part of this sport.
Let me tell you, I'll give you a great example. I was in the Madison Square Garden for Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, and people had told me leading up to the fight that this fight has sold out. And I kept in my mind, I was like, there's no way they sold out Madison Square Garden. They sold out Madison Square Garden, the big room, and the place was electric.
Yes.
It was electric. So, and they put on a hell of a fight of the year. Could have, I don't know what fight got Fight of the Year last year, but they could have and probably should have gotten Fight of the Year. It was a great event. And Baumgardner, to that, you know, all respect to her, and hopefully she's able to unify those titles tonight. This weekend.
Awesome. I appreciate y'all for having me. Thanks for your work. Appreciate your time, big bro.
Man, no problem. Did you have a follow-up for her? Okay, he's driving. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad man, great questions, huh?
Great questions.
Yeah, hey, look at my little list right here.
There you go.
Oh man, this was so awesome, man. This is so awesome. Like I said, I don't want to take too much more of your time because one day I want to have you back on again. And when domestic violence week shows up, or the Women's Week Without Violence, and we would love to have you back. Like I said, you will always have a platform here if you want to, anything you want to talk about, if you want to bring any of your fighters on and spread the word about them, any upcoming events, the doors here are always open to you. Like I said, you are a phenomenal woman. I grew up watching you with my mom. I should have called my mom this morning. Mom, you want to talk to Miss Christy?
There you go, Fight Week. We'll catch up Fight Week, and I'll get some of the local fighters on with me if you have the time.
I look forward to it. Before I let you go, again, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to plug your website and again plug your nonprofit organization.
So the website, we're all over social media. Christy Martin Promotions, Christy Salters Martin. You can buy the book on ChristyMartinPromotions.com. The book was written by Ron Borges. We were co-writers together. Basically, I talked and he wrote. It's a really inspiring book, and talks about the ups and downs of the boxing career, ups and downs of life, and hopefully gives some inspiration to people that it's the underdog story. Reach out to me. I'm accessible. And as far as Christy's Champs goes with the nonprofit for domestic violence awareness, we're out there. We're trying to we're raising money always to put computers in local boxing gyms, just to make it a little bit easier for some of the kids that don't have. We just assume that everybody has the internet and computers at home. They don't. So we try to help out and make sure that gyms have one or two laptops always. And then we have tutors, we have mentors. We have lots of things going on with the local gyms.
How can people donate to that nonprofit organization?
On Facebook, Christy's Champs. Yes. There's a button to just make a donation.
On Christy's Champs on Facebook.
On Facebook, yes.
They can buy the book on your website.
ChristyMartinPromotions.com. The book is there, and if they buy it through my website, I will autograph it personally and actually put it in the mail myself. Oh,
I'm going to get one of those. Got to get one. Make sure you guys get that. That's a collector's item. You get an autograph. You get a book and an autograph. You can't lose. Champion Hart told me to ask you. He said, I forgot to ask him, Art, what does she think about Clarissa Shields, aka the GWOAT? How good is she? What do you think? Here we go.
Clarissa Shields is definitely the greatest amateur woman fighter that we've had so far. Look, she's young. She says a lot of things, and she has said things to me personally that were kind of unacceptable, but it's okay. And I don't want to put her down. I want to build her up, and let's just keep going on. And as she gets older, she'll understand that there were fighters that came before her, women fighters that came before her, that made it a lot easier for her to reach the goals that she's been able to accomplish. And to name yourself the GWOAT is, you have to, those kind of things, I think you should sit back and let somebody else name you.
Okay. Who is the greatest woman fighter of all time, Christy Martin?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know.
I thought you was like, me, Mark.
No, you know what? I don't know. I think that I know that I broke a lot of doors down for people. Don King gave me a great platform. I fought many times on Showtime. They were very supportive at Showtime. As I've said many times, I loved my job. I think I was pretty good, but I think it's for somebody else to say who the best was. But I'll tell you who wasn't the best, and that's Lucia Riker.
Shots fired.
There you go. Always.
Oh man, it's on for life with you, man.
Amen.
You got a bone to pick. You're gonna be picking that bone forever. I'm glad we're friends. How about that?
Always.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your energy. I thank God for you and your story, and I thank you for allowing us with your presence today and sharing your story. I look forward to seeing you in Atlanta at the fight, and Don't be surprised you see me over there in the Williams Jr. corner. Like, don't.
It's all good. Send me.
good.
I told you, send me all your credentials so I can get you in.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much again. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Yes, ma'am. All right, man. I told y'all this was going to be a great week. And look at it. Look at it. Wow. What a story. What a story. Last night was a crazy night. We had a long interview with the donors, but then today I'm back at it with this one. And I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. Thank you again for allowing me the opportunity to entertain you. Hopefully you guys learned something from this as well. Man, thank you again, man. Like, I would be remiss if I didn't thank the neighbors. And again, shout out to anybody who donated to this this live. If you want to send a Cash App to support this show, again, this is the independent operation funded by the people for the people. You can send a Cash App. I will put your name on the wall and give you a personal message. Thank you for the Cash App. I'm not going to tell people what you donated, but because that's between us. But even if you send $1, it really helps keep this business going. So thank you so much, man. I love y'all. Hope you love yourself. If not, guess what? God loves you. So does Mark Nash in the neighborhood. Let me give my boy Ryder the Storm the drop. He said, wow, amazing work, Mark. Man, I'm going to be honest, man. The work that we're doing over here, man, I'm going to be honest. One day when I probably won't even be around, but one day we're going to look back and it's going to be appreciated. So hearing these stories, but let me give you the drop.
I got 5 on it, 5 on it.
Yeah, man, it's hearing that story that she told too is very like I said, as a father of a young girl, very, very heartbreaking. And even now I'm thinking of questions that I should have asked, but like I said, she's a remarkable woman in and outside that ring, and she's a woman of her word. So I do look forward to seeing her again fight week. So we're gonna chop it up with her again. So this was dope. Also, let me give a drop out to Tar Heel Resin. Thank you so much for supporting this stream.
A 10, a fucking 10.
Couldn't do it without you guys. So with that said, man, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your energy. Let's do a neighbors only roll call. Let's lock that in on this episode. So whenever they go back and look at this episode, the neighbors will be like, yeah, and he shouted me out on the Christy Martin episode. Absolutely.
What up?
Man, I had so many questions. I just forgot to ask her about even calling her Christy Martin, like because of that. Because you know how Tina Turner kept the name. Damn, man, I forgot to ask her that. Forgot to ask her. Hey, look, I'm gonna forget sometimes. Sometimes I'm gonna drop the ball with some of these interviews. I like to try to have a conversation. Still want to ask good questions, but I try to have a conversation when we do these things. But sometimes I'm gonna miss the mark. So no pun intended. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Hope you guys are enjoying these interviews as we're doing them. Look for me tonight. I'll probably do a pop-up episode. I'm gonna end this one here. Go ahead and grab something to eat and start my day. And yeah, man, I love y'all, man. Let's do this neighbors only roll call. Let's shout them out. Because again, without the neighbors, the show would not be the show at this level. So let's do a big old neighbors only shout out. Shout out to True Media Today USA Boxing. That's my guy, Coach Malachi Williams.
What up?
Tar Heel Resin.
What up?
Puto.
What up?
Stephen Bateman in Australia.
What up?
Food Revolution.
What up?
C Jones 0224.
What up?
Sweaty Teddy.
What up?
That guy Eclipse 330.
What up?
KP from KC5.
What up?
TJR.
What up?
Matt Wade.
What up?
DJ.
What up?
Karma Serene.
What up?
Kansas City Mac.
What up?
Ill Status Boxing.
What up?
Ace Retro.
What up?
Tank the Sweet Science Examiner.
What up?
Beyond and Above Media.
What up?
Pittsburgh T.
What up?
SF City Slicker.
What up?
I Know Boxing.
What up?
Boxing Lounge.
What up?
It's Mex.
What up?
Mike from Boston.
What up?
Rider of the Storm.
What up?
Here to There.
What up?
Miss Queen Sunkissed.
What up?
Taylor Bell.
What up?
Maddie Yoel.
What up?
Cliff Bailey.
What up?
Con Shonery.
What up?
Lisa Bells.
What up?
Cooking with the Champ. Great questions, bro.
What up, gangsta?
Cooking with Sir Senior.
What up?
HLD.
What up?
Cooking with Sir Senior. I'm sorry, I said that twice. On the mic with Terrence Bailey Sr.
What up?
Brandon Washington.
What up?
Warren Supreme.
What up?
Lady Shan Dundam Season.
What up?
E Bevel the Champ.
What up?
And of course, my good
What
brother,
up, gangsta?
the big fish himself, Derry Lincoln. All right. Appreciate y'all, man. Hey, look, and again, man, I'll be remiss if we didn't close it out like this. Males, females, it doesn't matter. Whoever you are, young or old, if you or somebody you know are being abused, seek help. Seek help. It's never too late. Seek help. Run for that door and never look back. And you too can be one of Christy's champs, man. Reach out to her website. Let's donate to that website. Go to her website. Go to the Facebook to donate to those abused, to the victims. Also, go to her website and cop that book, man. You get an autograph, get a free autograph when you sign that book. Also, when you buy that book. Also, if you have not seen her special on Netflix, it's Untold. It's called Deal with the Devil. Check that out. It's the Christy Martin story on Netflix. And yeah, man, with that said, man, I love y'all. Hope you love yourself. If not, guess what? God loves you. So does Martin Nash in the neighborhood here at Breaking Beats. Say, look, man, sometimes we're going to agree. Sometimes we're going to disagree. But one thing's for certain, two things for sure, homeboy.
I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another nigga talk.
And I mean that. Drive.
This that squad sound.
And this episode is going to be exclusive right now on the main channel. This is not on the backup channel. So if y'all want to watch the replay, it'll be right here for you. Love y'all. See y'all later on. Peace. Oh, don't forget, we got Franchon Cruz. Got Franchon Cruz coming to the studio tomorrow. We got Franchon Cruz. That's going to be our interview for tomorrow. Don't miss that one. That one's going to be amazing as well. So I'll see y'all later on tonight. Make sure y'all blast this out. Leave me a comment. Let me know what y'all think of this. And yeah, I'll see y'all on the next one. God bless y'all. Peace.